Good morning and welcome to this class on freedom. I was not able to teach this class on July 4th weekend, but we're still going to stick with the topic of freedom. In the yoga context, the goal of yoga is freedom or liberation, known as moksha. And we're not going to go into reincarnation, which is perhaps where a yogi might take it, but we can look at the what brings us to that state of liberation, which is that we have tendencies that come from our life experiences. And again, in yoga, we call that samskaras. They're like scars. They're tendencies that have been created from our past experiences. And if those past experiences are impacting our present, then are we truly free? So the practice of yoga creates a flexibility in our nervous system so that our experiences do not create these scars or samskaras. My guru used to say that when we have a stressed nervous system, our experiences impact us like a line drawn on a stone. And as we practice yoga and our nervous systems become more resilient, then it becomes like a line drawn on sand. And true liberation is when our experiences are like a line drawn on water, so that we are not impacted by what happens to us. We're not bringing our past into our present. So that's true liberation. And that's the experience of freedom that our yoga practice brings to us. So in today's class, we're going to experience a lot of opening poses that make us feel very free and open. But we're going to start at the very beginning. So we'll start in child pose. So coming onto the back of your mat, widening your knees and stretching your arms forward, bringing your forehead to the floor or a block. And as you breathe into your back body, feel your back body opening. And while it may not be true that as babies we come in with tabula rasa, we certainly come in with a lot less baggage than we carry with us as we go through our life. So let's go back into that state of innocence as we just breathe. Maybe 5 or 6 more slow, deep breaths into our back body. Let's lift the head and walk around to one side, pressing into the hands or the fingertips. And feel a stretch in the side body. Let's come back to center and walk around the other way. Come back to center, reaching the arms out, spreading the fingers wide, feeling that openness in your back. And then walk your hands back towards your knees. Bring your legs together, coming into Thunderbolt. Let's bring the hands to the floor behind you and lift the chest. And if you like to bend your elbows and lift your knees, giving the front of your ankles a stretch. As you press the spine forward and open your chest. Let's inhale forward. We'll slide forward into a puppy dog. So bring your chin or forehead to the floor, lift your hips, bring your chest to the floor. Walk yourself back into child pose. We'll come into a spinal twist. Let's press one hand into the floor, lifting the elbow. Bring the other arm underneath you and slide through. Press into the outstretched hand to open the side body. Let's change sides, coming back to center. Bring the other arm in, palm up. Slide that arm underneath your other arm. Press into that outstretched hand. Open the side body. Come back to center. And let's repeat that series. Let's lift up the head and walk around to one side. Press into the hand to open your side body in this direction. Inhale back to center and walk around the other way. Come on back to center. Walk the hands back towards your knees and come up into Thunderbolt. Bring your hands behind you. Squeeze the elbows, lift the chest. If you'd like, you can bend the elbows and lift the knees, pressing the chest forward and stretching the front of your ankles. Inhale back into Thunderbolt, and we'll come into Puppy Dog. Reach your hands forward, bringing your chin or forehead to the floor. Slide forward till your hips are right over your knees. Lower your chest down and feel that ski jump back. Again, press into the palms and lift the elbows. And walk yourself back into child. Press into one hand, lift the elbow, and slide your other arms through, looking under your armpit. Come back to center. We'll go the other way. Bring your elbow in, palm up. Inhale back to center. And let's inhale up and bring the legs through. Sitting on our butt, bring our hands to the floor and back. Let's walk the heels in. We're going to take some nice little butt lifts here. Inhale, lifting those hips, arcing up as high as feels good to you. Head forward or back. Exhaling down nice and slow, drawing the belly in. Inhaling, lift. Exhaling down. You can do this on your forearms if your wrists are weak. And the next one, we're going to inhale up and hold. Inhale, lift. If you'd like a little more challenge, you can bring that knee in and stretch it up. Bring that one down. Bring the other one in and stretch it up. And down. And stretch out. Coming into Dandasana. Let's give those legs a shake. Let's bring one leg in and open the knee out to the side. Turn towards your straight leg, stretch up tall. Come forward with a nice straight spine. Inhale long and exhale, surrender over. Then take the inside hand, make a big arc, reaching as far as you can. Head follows your hand. Bring that hand to the floor behind you. So it's hand, hip, and foot. We're going to turn that foot into the mat. Take the other arm into a big arc, up and over, lifting the hips, expanding the chest, feeling lots of freedom. Slide those shoulder blades down your back, broadening your chest. And come on back down. Turn towards your leg, bring that knee up and stretch it out. Shake it out. And we'll bring the other leg in and open that leg out to the side. Turn towards your straight leg, toes are up. Inhale, lift and come forward first with a straight back. So you're moving from your lower back, not collapsing your chest, and then lengthening over the leg as far as feels right to you. Spin your belly so you're towards your leg. We're going to take that inside arm, reach it out, make a big arc, stretch up, open out, bring the hand to the floor behind you, hand, hip, foot. Let's turn that foot in. I'm going to press onto the foot as we inhale, big arc here, reaching up and over. Take one more breath and bring your spine forward into your heart. Spin your ribcage slightly towards the ceiling. Deep breaths, enjoying the openness of this asana. And inhale back down, turn back towards your front foot. Bring that knee up, stretch it over. Let's take a little back bend here, bringing the shoulder blades together, lifting the heart. And if you're feeling really nice and free here, again, you could be on your elbows. You can point your toes and lift your hips and arc up this way. And whichever version you've taken, come back to Dandasana, and we'll exhale, surrender over the legs. Let's inhale up, come on over onto our hands and knees. Finding table position, and we'll come into sunbird. So we're going to send one leg straight out and back and lift it up. And first we're going to circle the ankle. Just feel nice and long. And circle the other way. Reaching out from the top of your head to the tips of your toes, and then we'll point and flex. And then we'll hang out here. Again, you can always stay with your toes on the floor or that leg lifted up, or the opposite arm alongside your ear. Or bend your knee, reach around, grab your ankle, and turn away from the hand that's on the floor. As you lift your knee, And let's release back and down. And we'll do just some little easy circles. And easy circles the other way. And even this you could do on your forearms if your wrists are weak, or on your fists. Let's go to the other side. Stretch one leg out behind you and lift it up. Big length from head to toe, supporting with your core. And we'll circle the ankle. So we're secretly strengthening our upper body while we're doing this. Then circle the other way. And point and flex. And then again, you can just stay with your toes on the floor, or lift that leg up with a flexed foot, or bring your opposite arm alongside your ear. Or bend your knee, reach around, grab your foot, lift your knee, turn away from the hand that's on the floor. And let's reach out and down, bring that knee back to the floor, and we'll just waggle our tail from side to side this time. And you can change your hand positions, giving your wrists a rest. And let's turn one palm with the fingers towards you to give that wrist a stretch in an opposite direction. And then press onto the back of the hand. And change sides. Turn the other hand with the fingertips towards your legs. And then flip over onto the back of your hand with the fingertips towards your leg. That's intense, so monitor how hard you press. And good, then let's press back into child and just give those wrists a total rest. Let's inhale back up into table. We'll do some low lunge warrior one variations. Let's bring the right foot through and drop the hips, coming up onto our fingertips and shining from our heart. And then if you like, lifting that back leg with the foot flexed. And if you like, reaching back with your hand and turning towards that foot. Ooh, you're going to feel an intense stretch in the front of that thigh. And let's release. And we'll change sides. Bring the other foot through. You can walk it forward a little, hips down. Coming onto our fingertips and shining from the heart. Again, this could be your pose. Or you could lift up that leg and flex the foot. Or reach around behind you and grab your ankle. Or maybe not. This would be where you could use your strap. You could be holding onto that foot with a strap. And release. And back into child. We're going to come into standing, and if you'd like to come through a downward facing dog, otherwise do another sunbird. Okay. So you can either do everything we're doing in sunbird or coming up into a downward facing dog. So in sunbird, we were working our ankles So here we'll walk one heel towards the floor and the other one lifted nice and high, and changing sides. And let's bring the legs together, and we'll bring one leg straight up behind us. We'll bend the knee, flex the foot, lift the hips, press the thigh back. So again, you could be in Sunbird doing the variations we did earlier, or you could be in your down dog doing this variation. Nice open stretch. Let's come back into our straight leg variation. Bring that leg down. Good to keep going. Let's stretch the other leg straight out and back. Or bend the knee, lift the hip, stack one hip over the other, look under your armpit. Big side stretch, reaching back with your standing thigh. Back into our big stretch, bring that foot to the floor. Let's come down into child one more time. We earned it, didn't we? And we'll come to standing. And again, if you'd like to come to another downward facing dog, lift up to down dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana, or roll up to standing any way you like. We'll meet in a forward fold in the middle of our mats. And let's just bring our hands around and back and just give ourselves some nice little love taps up and down the spine. And patting down the back of our legs, up the back of our legs. And if you have high blood pressure, glaucoma, you can have your head hip height rather than down, coming up and down the side of our legs. And one more love taps up and down the side of our legs, and around to the inside of our legs as we roll our way up. Tap your belly on the way up. And come to Tadasana. Feeling tall and lively. Feel that energy tingling in your hands and legs. Step our feet just a little bit wider than hip width. And we're just going to begin to lift one heel and slowly rotate the body, letting the arms swing like empty coat sleeves. And then if you like, you can swing more. And if you like, giving yourself a little pat on the back. You can go as slow or as fast, as dramatically or as gently as you feel like. And a little hallelujah. Just feel the freedom of just moving in space. Freedom of your breath, and then we'll slow it back down. Back to Tadasana. Just feeling the body in the present moment. Alive and open and free. Not bringing anything from the past. Not projecting anything into the future. That's true freedom. All right, let's step out to a nice wide 5-pointed star. Just take a moment here, feeling yourself expanding in all directions. And then we'll rotate our toes to the right, hips and shoulders facing forward. Let's reach over that front leg. And come into Trikonasana on the side. Draw the kneecaps up to engage the legs. Press actively down through the four corners of the feet, but keep those toes nice and soft and liberated. Let's inhale up. We'll do everything on one side and then we'll go to the other side. Let's come into a warrior two here and look over your middle finger. Keep that back arch lifted, both arches, but don't collapse into the inside of that back foot. Let's reach into a back stretch, looking down at your foot. That will help you stretch more. And then rotate your head and look up. Inhale back into warrior two. And then reach over your leg, coming into your favorite variation of side angle. You could be resting on your leg or tickling your ankle bone or bringing your hand to the floor on the outside of your leg. Inhale back up, turn the toes in, and toe heel work, quietly jump back into Tadasana. Let's step out again, big wide five-pointed star. And we'll turn our toes in the opposite direction, hips and shoulders facing the long side of your mat. Reach over that front leg, keeping the spine nice and straight. Rotate the arms. Press against the leg to help you spin your rib cage towards the ceiling. Inhale back up. Take a deep breath, draw the belly in, get nice and tall as you move your knee forward, right over your heel in line with your toes, and look over your middle finger. Let's reach back, find your heel, reach towards it, and then spin your rib cage and your head towards the ceiling. Inhale back into Virabhadrasana 2. And then reach over the leg. come into your favorite Parshvakonasa variation. Press into that front foot, straighten it to pull you back up. Turn your toes inward, 5-pointed star, and then toe heel or quietly jump back to Tadasana. We're going to do some balancing poses. We're going to do Shiva Dancing. All right, so we're going to start with a little bend in the knees, like you're doing, preparing for chair pose or Garudasana, eagle pose. And bring your arms up overhead in a ballet pose. Unusual, right? And shift your weight over to your right foot. Find your drishti and pick up your left heel. Now maybe you want to stay here. Or sinking into that hip, pick up the other foot with the foot flexed and bring it across at a diagonal. And then take the opposite arm down. Now he's got 8 arms. He's balancing with 8 arms, but we'll manage with 2, right? Shiva, the destroyer of ignorance, which leads to liberation. Doing great. One more breath here. Whew. And shake it out. Maybe some hip circles or whatever works for you. And then we'll come and do the other side. So starting in Tadasana, feet hip width apart, a little bend in the knees. Hips pressing back, shifting your weight over to your left, lifting your right heel. Arms come up ahead in ballet position. Find your drishti, and maybe this is your asana. Or pick up your foot, flexing it and bring it across your body at a diagonal. Take the opposite arm down, palm down. Beautiful ballet arms. Find your drishti. Breathing. Beautiful dancing. All right, and shake it out however you like. And then we're coming down onto our bellies. And you can grab your strap on your way down so you have it when we're ready to roll over onto our backs. Okay, we'll take a few breaths here in belly Shavasana. We're going to do some variations on our back bend. So let's point the toes and bring the legs to parallel. Bring the head in line with the spine and bring your arms out in goddess position. And then walk your hands back, bringing your fingertips under your elbows. So your arms are straight out from your shoulders, the way they were in Warrior 2. But then the elbows are bent and the hands are right underneath you, pressing into your fingertips. Take a nice deep breath and roll the shoulders back and down as you curl yourself up. Shine from your heart. And lower yourself back down. Bring your arms back down into goddess position. And turn your head to one side. Bring the head back in line with the spine. If you need the support of your hands, you can do that same pose again, or keeping your hands in goddess position. Inhale, lifting head, chest, and if you like, legs. So we're squeezing the shoulder blades, broadening the chest, breathing into the belly, lengthening from head to toes. Slowly rocking on the breath. Come down sooner if you need to, if this is too much. But I'm having so much fun. Just want to stay here and enjoy the freedom. It feels like flying. And come down, turn your head the other way. And bring your hands beside you, heels out. Slow deep breaths. And now, folks, the thrill you've all been waiting for. Let's roll over onto our backs and grab our straps. Roll back down. Bring the feet on the floor for a moment. Bring the knees into the chest and give yourself a hug. Maybe a little rock from side to side. Maybe a little circling of the knees. And circling back the other way. And we'll put one foot on the floor. Take our strap. And wrap the middle of the strap behind the ball of our foot. And we'll stretch that leg up tall. So we're reaching out through the heel. We want this leg to be straight, even if it looks like that. You can't get it all the way up, that's no problem. But you want to pull it just as much as you can to keep the back of the leg stretching. So we're not doing this. Big stretch in the back of the leg. And this leg can be bent, or if you want more challenge, you can straighten that leg as well. Inhale, reach up. Pulling on the strap to stretch the back of your leg. And then very gently, maybe bringing the leg a little closer to your head. Don't let your shoulders get tense, keeping that openness in your face, in your neck, in your breath. So you can inhale, release a little bit, and exhale, pull a little more. And let's release a little bit so it's not on our edge, rotating the toes outward from the hip joint and then opening the leg out to the side. Keep your other hand on your hip to keep that hip anchored. So you want to keep the other hip on the floor. So only open as far as you can, staying flat on your back. Toes pointing downward as much as they can. Breath nice and open. And again, we're going to pull on the straps so that the leg moves in a direction in an arc. So it's not coming back to the sky, it's moving parallel to the floor. And again, maybe your pose looks like this, but it's still moving that way, not that way. And moving closer to your head, not closer to the new arc. And again, you can release on an exhale anytime you want, and then give it another little pull. Let's bring that leg back to center. Bring the opposite hand to the leg. From the hip, rotate the toes towards the midline. Reach out with your other arm. And then we'll bring that leg across the body, staying on our back. So it's not a spinal twist here. It's a big stretch on the outside of that leg. So talking about freedom and living in the present moment, we carry a lot of past tension in our hips. So we're clearing out that old tension, clearing out what's keeping us stuck from moving forward in life. And true freedom is moving towards our goals while living in the present. Oh, that stretch is so yummy. Just surrender into it. And we'll bring that leg up. And let's do this. Let's bring the other leg up. Change feet on the strap. Bring the other foot down. And again, you can have that knee bent with the foot flat on the floor. Or stretch it out. But the most important part is for this leg to be nice and straight, so the back of the leg is getting a stretch. So even if your pose looks like that, that's perfectly acceptable. Whatever works for your body. And inhale, stretch out through the back of the leg, pulling on the strap to give the toes a little pull towards you, but it's the ball of the foot towards you. And again, on an inhale, you can release a little bit and then pull a little more on an exhale. Keep the tension out of your shoulders and your face. And then ease up just a little bit so you're not at your edge. And then holding the strap in the same hand. From the hip joint, rotate your toes outward. Other hand comes onto the hip to anchor that leg down. Keeping your sacrum flat on the floor as you open your leg out to the side. Feeling a lovely stretch on the inside of your hips. And again, when you found the place that feels right to you, the leg nice and straight, you're going to begin to pull the leg towards your head and not up towards the midline, but parallel to the floor. And you can pull and you can release on an exhale if you like. I'm sorry, inhale, release, and pull on an exhale. Savor that wonderful stretch and inhale back to center. Change hands on the strap and rotate from the hip, the toes towards the midline. And then we're going to bring that leg across, keeping the whole back on the floor. So it's not a spinal twist, it's just an outside of the leg stretch. You roll your inner thighs towards each other so that the leg that's on the floor, that thigh can roll inward slightly. Roll this one inward as well, turning the toes towards the floor. Inhale back to center. And lower that leg down. And surrender. A few breaths here. Let's come up into bridge pose. So we put our strap to the side, bend the knees and walk the heels close to your buttocks. Knees and feet are hip width apart. Hands are down at your sides. Take a nice deep breath and begin to tilt the tailbone towards the ceiling and float the hips up. Pressing your arms into the earth lots of space in the front of your body. And if you're up nice and high, you can roll your shoulder blades towards each other, roll your arms underneath you, bring your hands together and squeeze those elbows towards each other. Press the sides of your hands into the earth to lift your hips even higher. Energetically draw the knees towards each other. And bring the back of your thighs into your body. Keep your throat and face nice and soft and relaxed. And release your arms. Lower yourself down one vertebra at a time. Bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. If you'd like to use your straps for your inversion, you can place the strap around the ball of your feet and send both legs up. And just hang out here. We'll take a minute in an inversion, or whatever variation you prefer. That's my word. Whatever variation you choose. And let's lower the legs back down. Release the strap for a moment. Give yourself another hug. And I'm going to give you an option to use the strap in your spinal twist today. So if you go into one side, you can stay here, just an easy spinal twist, opening up your arms and turning your head away from your knees. Or you can put the strap around the bottom of your feet and stretch your legs out straight. Holding onto the strap in one hand and opening the arm the other way in your spinal twist. Slowly turn back towards your legs, bring your legs back in. Come back onto your back and give yourself a hug. And then again, on the other side, you can just use bent knees, stacking one knee on top of the other and then opening your arms out. Or bring the strap underneath the soles of your feet and stretch your legs out straight. Hold the strap in one hand and pull those legs as you reach your other arm in the opposite direction and turn your head away from your legs. Let's release the strap, bend the knees, come back to center, give yourself a hug, and come into Shavasana. You can stay in Shavasana as long as you like. And when you're ready, begin to bring some movement back into your body. Gently stretch your fingers and toes, moving your arms and legs in whatever way feels good to you. And eventually roll to one side. Place your hands on the floor in front of you and come to a seated position. Thank you for practicing with me today. I hope this class connected you to that sense of freedom that comes from living in the present. Namaste.